And welcome. This is Mr. Ahmed Ragab from the Academic Professional Training, and we're going today to talk about Unit 9 and Unit 10 from the second book, which means that now we're level 6. Okay, now first, before we start today's session, let's ask some questions about previous sessions. Now, so previous sessions, what happened in previous sessions? Yes, previous sessions we took lots of things. We started from ABC to numbers, we took how to learn English, and lots of things about learning English in a correct way and all of that. Okay, today we're going to talk about something new, something we all live in. Okay, before that, let's go for a quick revision for what happened before. Okay, before we talk about lots of things, let's mention some of them, the important things. Now, one important thing about nouns, we said we have nouns are countable and uncountable. So if we're going to talk about countable and uncountable, we should mention advice, we should mention information, we should mention equipment. So advice, information, equipment, and that's all. Okay, so before we start with this vocabulary. So advice, information, and equipment. Now, last time when I was here, we talked about these specific words. When we said that advice, information, equipment, all are plural by nature. So I cannot say one advice, I cannot say two advice or three advice, or whatever. So here, we actually agreed on how to make it singular. We said to make it singular, I have to use a sentence. What was the sentence? Yes, piece of something. So piece of advice, piece of something. So this is how to make it singular. So that was one important thing we talked about before. We needed to refresh our memory so we can talk about it. So piece of advice, piece of information, piece of equipment. Okay, that's number one. Now let's go for number two. Number two, we talked about some tenses. One specific tense I need to talk about again, the present continuous or progressive. Okay, so the present continuous or the present progressive is one of the most important tenses in English. Why is it like this? Because in the present progressive or the present continuous, I have to pay attention to something important. Now, in this tense, I talk about now. Very nice. So I talk about now. So whenever I use this tense, that means I'm talking about something which is happening now. So, like for example, I'm eating, or I'm teaching, or I'm playing, or so like this. So if we're going to give an example for it, so for example, I'm teaching English now. So I'm teaching English now. So let's make it big. I'm teaching English now. So that's a tense. So this is the tense we were talking about. So always we said when we see the word progressive or the word continuous, we need to pay attention to something important, continuous or progressive. We need to take care of two things. What are these two things? Okay, let's write them. So we have the first thing, which is what? Very nice. So the present continuous is always talking about time. Very nice. Something will take time or is taking time, so the period of time. The second thing we need to mention about these tenses is, is verb to be plus the gerund. So verb to be plus the gerund, that's the second thing that we will have in this tense. So always the present continuous talk about something will take time, or it's talking about verb to be plus the gerund. That's what we actually it consists of. This. Now, so if we're talking about our sentence, so let's highlight teaching. So we will highlight teaching because this is the gerund, and we will highlight actually verb to be to make it present, for example. So verb to be, which is am. So I'm teaching now, and now this is like how I actually clarify that it's happening now. So now I'm teaching now. That's the first thing. So I talk about it now. And we said always we understand, we don't memorize, we understand. So for more understanding, we have something here which is the timeline. So for the timeline here, we have 3 tenses in the timeline. So we have past, then we have present, then we have last but not least future. So past, present, and future. These are 3 tenses, the 3 tenses that we have, 3 periods of time. Okay, so these are the 3 tenses. So now if we're talking about the present continuous, so the present continuous is like this. The present continuous is talking about something which is happening now. So it's taking time. It will end in the future. So if we're trying to actually highlight it here, let's highlight it like this. So that's orange and we put it. Okay. Did it start here? No, it started in the past. This is the way of understanding the thing. So it started here, will end here. Okay? No, wrong choice. So it started here and will end here. And this period is, yes, is now. So this period is now. So something will happen now. So something is happening now. Like for example, when I say I'm teaching. Okay, I start teaching like 5 minutes ago or 10 minutes ago, and I'm still teaching. I'm going to teach until like I end my session in the future, and it's happening in now. So that's understanding the tense. Also, we talk about one exceptional case for this tense. When, for example, when we take the same thing, let's take the same sentence, but we will adjust or change one thing. So here, instead of saying now, I say tomorrow at 8. I'm teaching tomorrow at 8. So now, he said tomorrow, so can I say that this is talking about now? No, it's not talking about now. This is talking about, yes, this is talking about, it's talking about future, tomorrow at 8. So here, that's the exceptional case for the present continuous. When I use it for something will happen tomorrow, or something will happen in the future, I use the same form, but I mentioned something important here, like this thing. So I mentioned that. I mentioned tomorrow at 8. So I was specific about that thing, as same as when I said here, it's now. And of course, if we're going to talk about future, so we need to talk about the 2 cases of future. So in future simple, I have I will teach tomorrow at 8, or I'm going to teach tomorrow at 8. So what are the differences between these 2 sentences? So that's a very important question we need to answer. So what are the difference between these 2 sentences? Yes, the first difference is about here, saying in one of them I say I will, and the second one I said I'm going to. It's a verb to be plus going to and I will. And we said that the difference between them is in that, yes? Very nice. The first one is talking about I took the decision, but it's still a maybe. It's still not sure. So here it's not sure yet. Still a maybe. So it will stay a maybe until I change it. So here I took the decision. So I took the decision and I will teach tomorrow. But it's still a maybe. Maybe something will happen that will prevent me from teach me tomorrow. So it will stop me from teaching tomorrow. So, okay. Now, I'm going to teach tomorrow at 8. Here, that's different. Okay, yes, I took the decision and we add something here. And I have a plan. So, and I have a plan. Here, I have a plan. What's the plan? That I already prepared everything. I prepared my material. I prepared everything that I'm going to need to teach in the future. So here, this is not a maybe, this is a plan. So the difference between both of them, this one is maybe and this one is plan. Okay, so maybe and plan. Now, if we're going to talk about the exceptional case for the present continuous, which is I'm teaching English at 8 tomorrow, that's future. So yes, it's related to this one. So if I'm going to link it with one, so I will link this part with this one. So it's equal. So they are equal to each other. Okay. So they are equal to each other. Okay. So that was a quick revision about some grammatical rules we took, and actually we've taken and some here of like the rules about nouns and other things, and we took lots of things in general in English. Okay. Now let's continue with that thing. Let's continue with our session today. Now our session today is talking about something we all live in. What's that thing? Now, so where do you live? So let's first have this question of where do you live? So where do you live? So that question can be answered in different ways. Now let's start by some examples for this answer for this question. So let's say that 40, and where do you live? I live in either in, for example, Saudi Arabia. So I live in Saudi Arabia. Okay, so we have here, I live in Saudi Arabia. So that's the first thing I talk about living. So I live in Saudi Arabia. Or, for example, I live in Jeddah. Right? So I live in Jeddah. Oh, sorry. Jeddah. Also, another example for doing that, I live in, and I speak about a neighborhood place. What's that place? The place that we live in. Like, for example, we say, I live in, for example, let's say, where? Remember, like, there was a neighborhood called, anyway, I live in, you understand what's the meaning I live in. Now, my question can mean the place, and can mean another thing. What's that thing? Now, the second thing I can mean with my question is when I'm asking you about the type of place that you live in. For example, now, the type of place like can be in a different thing. Can be I live in a house or in an apartment. So I live in a house or in an apartment. That's the type of place I can live in. So I have two here. I live in a house or I live in an apartment. And if we're trying to focus on something about this sentence, what's the and? Yes, I know I keep on trying to say. So, like, it's important to know these things. So I live in a house or in an apartment. So a and an, they are very important with, singular nouns. So I use them always with singular nouns if we're talking about them. So I live in a house or I live in an apartment. Very nice. So what's the difference between house and apartment? So now let's start our thing and let's talk about houses and apartments. Now, let's first start by some things related to the pronunciation of the word. Now, house is, yes, one. Now, when I want to make it plural, so I will say what? That's a good question. So, I will say house. Houses? No, it's not houses. Now, so it looks actually like this. Okay? Now, the original one was like this, the British one. Okay? So houses. Okay, so the British one is houses. Houses. The British. So this one is British. Okay? UK, England. Now, American way is a little bit different. Now, different in that sound. So, let's agree that the last sound is Z. So, it's Z in American. But the first sound here is, yes. So, the first sound here is F. So, it's like this. Houses. 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 So, houses. And this is, very nice, this is US. Okay, so this is US. You get the pair now. So this is US and this is UK. So now, so this is house. Now that's different is in the S and the Z. So British it's houses, American it's houses. Okay? So welcome back from the prayer. Okay. Now we were praying, and before we go to the break of the prayer, we're talking about something important. We're talking about the difference between house and apartment. Now what did we say is the difference between house and apartment? We didn't say the difference. We say show the pictures. But now let's talk about the pronunciation itself. Now it's houses. So houses. Again, houses. Houses. So or British it will be houses. So houses double Z. Okay? Houses or houses. Now in the dictionary you find both are houses in the dictionary, that's academic. But slang and how American people they speak about it, they say houses. So again, houses. Now let's go to the next picture of things and let's see what's that. Now, a house. A house. So this is a house. House is like what? House is like a villa. So house is like a villa. So if I have a villa, so that's a house. So house. Again, house. Again, house. House or villa. Villa. So normally the house is consisting of what? You see here. So if we're going to put like arrows here, so we have this one, and this one. Now we need to understand what are these. Now so let's erase these. This. Yellow. Very nice. Okay, so now we erase the name. Now we have this, and we have this, and we have. Now this one is called the ground floor. So this one is called the ground floor. Okay, so that goes for this one, ground floor. Now this one is called, yes, the second floor. So we have the second floor. So we have ground floor, we have the second floor. So this is normally, the house is consistent of 2 floors or more. Now we have another thing. This part up here, what's this part? This part is in the top of the house. What's this called? This part is called the attic. Again, attic. Attic. So it's attic. What is the attic? The attic, I put all my old stuff, old things, old bag, old toys, old anything, I put it up in the attic. Okay? So this is the idea. So we have here ground floor, second floor, or actually we can call it first. Sorry. Okay, I'm sorry. Whoa. Anyway, so let's write it again. Disappeared. Okay. So second floor. And we have here the attic. Now the ground floor sometimes is being called first floor. Sometimes, but normally it's the ground floor. But sometimes they say first floor. So first floor, second floor, and the attic. So I put, what is the attic? I put all my old stuff in that place. Now let's talk about another room. Now we have here, this is the house. Now this place, this black spot, sometimes we have a room down. Sometimes we have a room down. So what's this room called? This room is called basement. So it's what? Basement. Again, basement. So again, it's called basement. What is the basement? It's a room under the original room. Like for example, in my house, so I have in my house, in my villa of course, so if we're talking about house, so house is equal to villa. So in my villa or in my house, I have what? I have an attic at the top, ground floor, and yes, ground floor. Under the ground floor we have what? Basement. Very nice. So basement. It's a room under that house. Now house with basement. Of course also, yes, that's a clear picture. Perfect. Of course also, we have to pay attention to something else. Something is very important. Now what is that thing? Now, in the house, sometimes I have what? I have a pool. What's the pool? Okay, so what is the pool? Now, let's take a white page and let's see this picture for a house with a basement. So a pool, what is the pool? Okay, Think about it. What is the pool? Huh? Pool. Yes, it's pool. Swimming, so that's a pool. So now we have a house here. Let's look at this house. Now in this house we have here, this part is the ground floor. Then we have, sorry, no filling. So this part is the ground floor. This part is the second floor. Very nice. And this part is called the attic. The last part, you see, down here, that's called what? Basement. So again, it's called basement. Again, it's called basement. Okay? So we have attic, second floor, ground floor, and basement. Again, basement. So we have something here. What's that thing? Yeah, this thing we call, yes, we call it what? Stairs. Let's make it black. So these are stairs. We use them to go from floor to the next floor. So stairs. So stairs. Also I have what? What's this? What's the green area? The green area is what? Yes, a garden. So the green area is called a garden. Okay. A garden. So it's a garden. That's the green area. So this is a garden. So again, let's talk about all of them. So we have here these are the stairs. Let's take this one and use it. This is what? The attic. The 40. Blue. No, blue is not here. Color that is here. Yes, attic. Okay. Then we have here in here that's, yes, the second floor. So that's the second floor, and of course down here we have the first floor. Then the last but not least we have here the basement.